I have the headline of all headlines here from Time magazine. President Trump will give a speech on Islam in Saudi Arabia. If I told you a year ago that would be a headline, you'd say, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. There's not going to be a President Trump, number one. Number two, if there is a President Trump, he's going to go to Saudi Arabia and give a speech on Islam. He's the guy who said, well, I don't know if he said it at the time, if we're going back a year or whatever, but he's the guy who eventually said, a total and complete shutdown of Muslims coming into the U.S. Total and complete shutdown. So ban all Muslims from coming to the U.S., but now I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia and give a speech on Islam. I mean, that's like having fucking, the king of Saudi Arabia come here and lecture us on Christianity. Who wants that? What is this? We live in a fucking simulation. All right, so let me give you what they say here. President Trump will deliver a speech about radical Islam to leaders of Muslim countries when he is in Saudi Arabia for his first foreign trip, the White House said Tuesday. The speech, said National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, will be inspiring yet direct about the need to confront radical ideology. The speech is intended to unite the broader Muslim world against common enemies of all civilization and to demonstrate America's commitment to our Muslim partners, said McMaster. It is unclear if any of the leaders from the 7 Muslim-majority countries Trump initially singled out in his first executive order imposing a travel ban, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen, will be in attendance at the meeting. The second draft of the order removed Iraq from the list, and both are currently held up in court. Okay, so there's so many layers of what the fuck to this. You're giving a speech about radical Islam and our need to confront it to the hub of radical Islam. Saudi Arabia is radical Islam. They're the ultra-right-wing fundamentalist Salafist interpretation. We talk about this every day on the show. You guys probably have it lasered in your brains at this point. But they behead people in the public square. That's what they do. And they do it for drug smuggling and sorcery and witchcraft. And women don't drive. They can't drive. They need a guardian. Women need a guardian. They say all atheists are terrorists. I mean, they're the hub of radical Islam. He's like, no, we're going to go give a speech to them. And Trump is going to talk to them about, radical Islam as if it's like we're on the same team against it, right? They are it. But furthermore, the idea of Trump lecturing anybody about, I need to confront you about the need to confront radical ideology. But Trump also fucking, as much as Saudi Arabia promotes and spreads radical Islam, Trump does too. You think an idea like ban all Muslims is going to be something that doesn't push more people in a fundamentalist direction when you set up this us versus them dichotomy? Muslim equals bad. Non-Muslim equals good. That's what's embedded in that idea. No Muslims are allowed in. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're Sufi. I don't care if you're a Mahdi. I don't care if you're a moderate Sunni. I don't care if you're a Shia. I don't care. No Muslim. That's going to breed radicalism. You know what breeds radicalism? When your first military act as president kills an 8-year-old girl with a drone and 30 civilians. When you kill hundreds of people at a mosque, innocent people at a mosque in Syria, as Trump recently did. When you increase drone strikes by 432%. These are things that will further radicalize populations. So a dude who is in the midst of radicalizing populations is going to lecture about how we de-radicalize. And he's lecturing to a country that is the hub of Salafism that spreads it everywhere. The amount of hypocrisy and stupidity we're packing into this concept in this room is mind-blowing. Saudi Arabia said, with the whole Syrian refugee crisis, don't worry, guys, it's cool. We're going to take a grand total of 0 Syrian refugees, but go ahead and send them to Europe, and we'll pay for Salafist mosques there. We're going to build Salafist mosques for them. And we're going to have the nerve to pretend like they're on the side of fighting radical Islam. What? They are that. They're on the UN Human Rights Panel and the Women's Rights Panel. It's like we live in a bad dream. And President Reality Star Fuckface, who's doing every regressive, shitty policy there is, every hawkish foreign policy, every dumb social policy and immigration policy, he's going to now lecture, let me tell you how to de-radicalize. Right, because I'm sure you know about that. And by the way, Trump speechwriters, really, are we going to assume that they know anything about Islam? Like, really? That's what we're going to do? So the way to combat, fundamentalist Islam is to have better interpretations of Islam that you can say, hey, here's an alternative, and this alternative is liberal and secular and embraces freedom more and women's rights and yada yada. Is anybody who's going to write Trump's speech on that page, do they know better interpretations? Do they know Sufism? Do they know that? Do they know, Ahmadiyya Islam? Are they going to say, hey, here's a way to interpret things? No! They're just going to fucking, there's a lot of bad that's happening, and we would like it to be good. Fucking stories like this drive me crazy, but there you have it. President Numbnuts is going to give a speech in the hub of fundamentalist Islam about fundamentalist Islam.